Have you checked out ChevetteReport.com? It's the newest cigar media outlet to keep you in the know with all things cigar lifestyle related. From press releases to reviews, we have it all covered. Be some of our first members to join ChevetteReport.com and be a part of the next step in the cigar culture. ChevetteReport.com.
It's a rare condition this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page. And love and tradition of the grand design, some people say, is even harder to find. Well, then there must be some magic clue inside these gentle walls. 'Cause all I see is a tower of dreams, real love bursting out of every seam. Days go by. It's the bigger love of the family.
Welcome into week 28 of 2025 of Chief Talk this year. How are you doing? How are you doing? I'm just going to speak down just a little bit. It's quiet in my ears, and I'm sure it might be blasting on the stream. Welcome into Chief Talk. So happy to see you guys and gals who are here hanging out with us this evening. Last week, there were 50 comments before the show even started. Tonight, there were almost 80 comments that were here and popping before the show even started. So this community, man, I love it. Bob Cigar Guy was like, man, can you believe all the comments that are going on over here? It used to be when I started the show and did a little, information roll, I just get all of the, the hellos and the welcomes and whatnot. But now I'm having to sort through and find the hello and the welcomes from you guys just hanging out and having a good conversation. So, there's 20 people, by the way. Like 30 seconds into the show with my face coming up on here, we're already at 20 people. So congratulations, 28 out of 28 weeks in 2025, where we hit that magical number 20. Before we get fully into the show, I do want to say hello to Mike Zachary, Sammy Flo, Soprino, Tobacco, Banker John, Matt Brugger, Fireborn, the man himself, Mackie B. What is going on? Bob Ellis is back from vacation. Glad to have you, Charles Adamson. Hopped in here hanging out with us. The man, the myth, the legend, Val Chavez coming in hot. How's it looking over there, Val Chavez? Are we coming in fine, clear, high quality for you? High quality H2O? I mean, do Chief Modoc a little closer in the middle of the camera frame. I think I got everybody's. Banker John, if I got you, hey, I got you a second time. Gary Zanstra, I might have gotten you already. There's just so many comments to go through. Oh, there's one. Jay Bates, welcome to the show. Sammy Flo, welcome into the show. Happy to have you guys here hanging out with us. So before we get into the show, I want to know, what are you smoking? What are you drinking? And before I bring on the reoccurring esteemed guest, co-host of Chief Talk, I want to say a big thank you to our family over at Drew Estate Cigar and Natura Cigar for making sure that Chief Talk is brought to you guys every single week. Happy to have you here. Happy to be able to have the show, and it'd be a lot harder to have this show if it wasn't for both Drew Estate and Natura Cigars. So big shout out to the family over at Natura. We come on over here, pop over onto this thing, change the background, do one of these and bring up Bob, the cigar guy. Welcome into the show, Bob. How are you doing this evening?
I am epically awesome. I am so looking forward to it. Actually, just to let y'all know, a little back scene kind of thing going on behind the curtain. Chief was playing music in the headphones, and Hot for Teacher came out by Van Halen, and he's singing a little bit, I'm singing a little bit, and I'm drumming on the table and everything else. I mean, it was just a nice little vibe.
It was a little vibe, hanging out.
It was nice.
Had to match the vibe in the comments. Everybody was hanging out, chilling heavy in the comments. So we had ourselves a little party over here. We felt a little left out. I'm a cigar guy. Before I cut this music off as it plays in the background a little bit, how has your week been?
My week has been insanely busy. I've been putting in 12, 13, 14 hours every day at the car mill, getting these cars ready to go to production. So I've been extremely busy. Chief, how's your week?
That's been a good week. It's been hot. It has been hot. We're currently in the middle of this like heat dome thing. I didn't know that one of the reasons why the humidity has been so freaking high, because it's been like face melting high. I actually saw a news report that said that the Southeast is just a bowl of soup. It was literally on a newscast that said it's just a bowl of soup down there. But it comes from the corn sweat. Have you ever heard of the corn sweat?
I've never heard of a corn
I
sweat.
hadn't heard of the corn sweat either, but it makes a lot of sense. Corn that's grown in the middle of the country, right? That goes to feed cows, and I'm sure it's corn that we also eat, on our tables and things like that, and get put into ethanol and all whatever corn gets put into. Most of the middle of the country just grows a lot of it. Those flyover states. Well, before the corn gets ready to harvest, it sweats moisture out of it, and so because it's so much corn, it wets up into the air. You got to put the humidity somewhere, and it ain't been going into rain. At least it's in our area. And so it is literally a bowl of soup down in the Southeast right now. So pray for the big boys down here. We need it. We need the prayers. All right, let's get this music off. As much as Jay Bates loves to have that music running, we don't want to have the music running the whole entire show. So I think I asked this question. What are you smoking? What are you drinking? Fireborn says, I'm trying to light my cigar, Mr. Z. What did I miss? Because your feelings are the most important thing on my plate right now. Oh, okay. Well, maybe he wasn't responding to me. Val Chavez says, hey, BTCG, Arby's, they have the meat. They do have the meat. Arby's gets a bad rap.
I like Arby's.
I love Arby's. I don't know why people have such a disdain for Arby's as a fast food chain. It's a little expensive, but it's great quality food. Yeah. I mean, anywhere that you eat out any day nowadays is pretty expensive. Unless
jalapeno poppers are banging.
Well, Jamocha Shake. I mean, nobody comes close to the Jamocha Shake.
You ain't lying.
Now, Pop Cigar, what are you smoking? As the other people in the comments who are here hanging out with us are
smoking
in.
One of the things out of this little box.
Oh.
I'm smoking a Davidoff Maduro, and this thing is tasty.
Which one is that? Is that the Toro, the Robusto?
It's this one.
Okay. Good one. You're doing a great job on the cigar reviews.
What do you think? I'm a reviewer or something?
Yeah. We do have Sammy Flo and Jay Bates Love over on Facebook, and Charles Adamson with the like on Facebook. If you are watching on Facebook, please do share this to your favorite cigar group so that they can hang out and have a fun time with us. Tonight, it's just a kickback, sit back and talk kind of sort of night.
All right.
I decided that instead of trying to come up with another topic or going through a whole bunch of press releases or whatnot, which we might talk about some press releases tonight, because that's kind of something you could talk about in the lounge. You hear that new cigar coming out?
We also have some great news to share for the channel.
Oh, do we?
Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about, so it'll be new to me, I guess. Maybe. I'm not sure. One of the things that's new is your backdrop has changed a little bit.
That's what I was going to talk about. The wall is now complete. That's right. 3 huge monster humidors, now referred to as the wall. And I got to tell you, Steven said something, Chief said something about, you'll buy another one. I said, I don't have any room. And then the 3 days later on Facebook Marketplace, there's another one as big as the big one for $90.
Yeah, it was funny. You sent me that and you're like, hey, you want to go grab this one? I was like, no, we don't have any space for it. And I said, that's the only thing that's going to keep you from getting it is we don't have somewhere to
You
put it.
You don't need that big of a desk.
You know, you say that, but my desk is now being taken over by a ton of tech.
You don't need that big of a desk. We could squeeze it in there.
Yeah, I'm sure that would go great. Your whole you would lose sight of me, which may be part of your whole entire.
Say it isn't so.
You would there would not be a visual connect between you and I, which actually might
shift over. You'd have to shift a little bit.
It might actually force you to look at the camera more often during Chief Talks, and you just like look over at me when I talk to you a lot.
Really?
Sammy Flo says your market. Wait, there it is. Says your marketplace has some great deals.
Absolutely.
Val Chavez has got some Bullet Old Fashioned and a DET 52. No coffee tonight. Let's see. Dan Cruz, welcome to the show. How are you doing this evening? I want to know, what are you smoking? Syrian Tobacco says, dude, that's awesome. BTCG is the Facebook Marketplace champ. Blitzkrieg, welcome in. Has a diesel hair of the dog with a cream soda. Nice. Fireborn says, finally got my diesel Tempest going. AJ Fernandez is a genius. Jay Bates wants to know, did you pick up notes of raisins and dirt, Bob the Cigar Guy? I guess he's talking about maybe your Davidoff.
Mm-hmm.
Stream of Tobacco says, I just got my Maduros and looking forward to checking them out. Jay Bates is a fan of Arby's, loves the new Philly cheesesteak sandwich. Charles Adamson's got an H99 and a skinny, no added sugar margarita. Jay Bates just had Arby's. Birds of a feather flock together. Meat tobacco. If you know him like I do, has the meat sweats sometimes. Bob Ellis says we have the corn sweat here in Southern Illinois. Michael Zakovic says that they've got the corn sweats there. Now, with the corn sweats, is that like the same thing I'm talking about, or did you just eat too much corn and it's like the meat sweats, but it's corn? Right. Gary's interest says this week has been hot. Let's see. I think let me show you. Yeah, I think I've caught up on the comments that talk about cigars. Mac Berkson says, if you need any tools, Bob Cigar Guy, he knows a guy.
I don't know. The Harbor Freight people are mean.
Fireborn says, I saw a similar article about corn sweats, but I just thought that's what the kids are calling it these days. So yeah, Bob Cigar Guy, he peruses. Now the thing about Marketplace is like it has an algorithm, right? The more things that you search, or the things you search on your phone on like Google or whatnot,
right,
it carries over the cookies. Not ones that you can eat, Bob the Cigar Guy, but just cookies in general on your computadora or telefono. It'll populate, in your searches for Facebook Marketplace. So the last one you got was a little bit of a drive away. It wasn't right here in town.
No, so it was a good ways away. Hour and 20 minutes. And the first lady was game. It was last weekend, and it was my only day off. And I said, hey, you want to go ride to so-and-so?
You were trying to ramshackle me into going.
I was too. Well, no, that was the one in Georgia, because I saw one in Georgia. And
that is the one that you just got.
No. I got this one from Landrum.
No.
Yes.
No, that one was in Georgia.
No.
Yes.
This was in Landrum.
No, it wasn't. You told me because you were like, you want to go to.
Yes, because I told you Saturday, do you want to go to Georgia and pick it up? And you're like, no.
So you're talking about the one that you didn't buy was in Landrum.
The one I didn't buy was in Georgia. So I decided not to go get it because I didn't have time. I didn't want to invest that much time driving 5 hours when I need to be doing stuff around the house and other stuff, shooting reviews and things like that. And so as I was done reviewing, I was looking through Marketplace while I was editing, and I found this one in Landrum, which is about an hour and 15 minutes
your edit
away. Process
is so hard. Jay Bates says, you don't really work that much at a desk. Let your dad live his life and take care of his cigars.
My editing process can't be
here's
hard
the thing.
because I do 300 plus edits a year.
Yeah, you don't have to.
At least 300 plus.
No, you don't.
Maybe 400.
Not even close.
450.
Not even close. So here's the thing about the studio. Like, we got a lot of, we're fortunate enough, right? We have a lot of cigars in here. The more humidors you keep putting in here, the less impressive it's going to look with our cigar collection, right? You know, when you
No.
when you
Wait.
have one big humidor in here and it's just jam packed full of cigars, it's like, oh man, I can't believe you have that many cigars.
Look, hang
you
on.
get 17 humidors in here. You only put
This
22
humidor
cigars
over
in
here,
each one.
Every shelf is doubled up. This humidor right here, every shelf, well, half the shelves are doubled up. The other shelves are slap full. If I take the cigars, I single them out from here, where it's just one level of boxes per shelf and one little box per shelf, it's going to fill this whole thing up. And I've got a bunch of cigars I still need to put in there. Don't get choked up. That's a lot of cigars. I know it is.
I thought I had like exhaled all of the smoke, and I did not.
I hate when that happens.
I just like caught a. Oh, I'm not gonna say that.
What's worse is when you do reviews and you're not paying attention. You got a real good puff and a lot of smoke's coming up, and you got the cigar right up under your nose, and it catches you in the nose, and you start coughing on review. That's not a good look.
Cigar Pop says that you can go drive it and ship it up to him.
Yeah.
Cigar Pop says he just finished a boutique cigar called the TBC Signature Maduro. Now eating dinner. Ooh, what's for dinner? Dan Cruz smoked my first ever tobacco pipe. Interesting experience. Nice.
Fantastic.
How was it? Tell us about it. Sammy Flo says, I don't have an Arby's by me, but won't have to search for one. Oh yeah. You gotta get some Arby's in your life, brother. J Bates says, Bob, that face. You don't look impressed with that question. Rick Carroll's got a Hoyda Nicaragua Cuatro Cinco and a Dr. Pepper Zero. Sammy Flo says, Chief, no hat. Pretty boy Chief tonight. That's right. I got a haircut, so I'll show it off for at least 1 week. Let's see. Sammy Flo says 3 kids didn't eat because of Bob. But he didn't let me eat when I was a kid.
Yeah, okay.
Mac Bergson says, I do a ton of business on Facebook Marketplace, and it is simultaneously the best and the worst.
Steven probably ate so much food that I could have taken that money and bought a Bugatti.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Charles Emerson says, there's some great deals on Marketplace. Found my 56 Corvette project there, but you have to careful, especially with cars. Lots of scams.
That's true.
Val Chavez says, do I hear 500 edits? Bob, don't ever take Bob fishing unless you want him to just brag about the size fish you catch, because they always get bigger.
I've gone fishing like 6 times and I've caught one, and it was bait size.
J Bait says, God forbid a man have hobbies and wants to spend time with his son. Geez, Chief, you guys could have smoked tons of cigars and got your boiled peanuts.
Love me some boiled peanuts.
Fireborn says, Daddy and Daddy are fighting again.
Whoa.
Chief starting to sound like my Mizras. No, I'm just trying to keep my space in the lounge over here. Matt Berger says, sorry, I'll be in and out getting garage ready for a herf this weekend. Ooh, that sounds nice. Like a bunch of friends coming over, kind of sort of herf.
My invite got lost in the mail, I guess.
Jim Jurasek says, spread the wealth. I assume he's talking about Marketplace.
I bet he's talking about our cigars. And so, here's the thing. Once we
hit
hit 10,000 subscribers, we're going to do a huge giveaway. And if you've ever seen one of our giveaways, we've given away more cigars than we have in the studio right now.
Yeah.
I'm by far.
Yeah. Our last giveaway, I think we were doing almost 5 cigars a pack.
It was 5 a pack, and we gave out
200 plus packs.
Almost 250 packs.
Gary's interest keeping it easy tonight, smoking a factory throwout number 99 and drinking a Busch Light. Cigar Pop's got the 1.5 inch thick pork chops. Don't let anybody tell you 1.5 inches is huge. Jim Jurasek's got the L'Atelier Surrogatis Big 10. Michael Zakovec posted on the Discord earlier that he was smoking the Chunk Maduro by recommendation of Chief. What did you think about it? I want to know.
Did you see they got a new chunk come out?
Yes, the Connecticut. I am super looking forward to that. Supremo Tobacco says, I would love to go fishing with Bob Cigar Guy.
I'd love to just sit with Supremo and listen to him read the phone book. I mean, that guy is he just oozes awesomeness.
Very much eloquent.
And I'll tell you what, the disco party around a pool table.
Heck yeah.
Oh my gravy.
Heck yeah.
I was not ready. He's not ready. And I was there.
Charles Adamson says, we have so many high quality mom and pop fast food places around here. The chains can't compete. Sammy Flo says, Jay Bates could have joined Bob on the long trip and he would have finished his H99. Speaking of H99s, that is what I am smoking currently.
Well, you've been smoking fast.
The H99 Tora. I lit it up a little bit before stream. When I smoke cigars outside of the stream, like I smoke, I'm pretty quick. Don't tell my wife. But when it comes to being on the stream, that's when the cigar smoking slows down.
That's funny.
I do have some cigars over here to the side of me that I'm looking forward to possibly getting into. Jim says fishing would be fantastic. Supreme Tobacco is a fan of the chunk Maduros. Now, I want to know, guys, because I can't see it on StreamYard, but as I was watching the Chi-Town Cigar podcast on Tuesday, there is a new ranking system within the comments. Are you guys is that available?
What is the ranking system?
So you literally get experience points for every comment that you put out. And I think it's like 25 points per comment. And you get more comments for like super chats, but we can't do super chats right now. And so the more you comment, the more points you get. And so what it does is it encourages people to comment, which what that does for the algorithm is while the show is like, because it only works on live streams. Because I went and looked at it to see if I had to activate it on the TubeBuddy thing or whatever it is. Or YouTube Studio, and it said it was already activated, so it must be something that they've rolled out for everybody. So I think I saw somebody say yes, it is on and running, so that's good to see. But what it's going to do is it's going to make people want to comment more to try to get the 1, 2, or 3 spot, because you get a badge next to your name if you're number 1, number 2, or number 3, and that badge will stay on your name during the live stream, and then it restarts the next live show. So it's pretty cool. Now I don't know if it works for like videos that are premiered or not, because those kind of sort of act like lives a little bit. But it is a live show feature. So I saw that on the Chi-Town Cigar podcast, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then Gary Brooks reached out to me. He's like, hey, is this something that you can do on your channel? I was like, hey, I think it's just an automatic thing. So that's pretty dang cool.
I used to premiere all the Drew's Day videos and all the PCA videos that dropped at noon, because that was my lunchtime. But now my lunchtime is at 11. And I still drop the videos at noon, so I don't do premieres anymore. But there would be 4 or 5 people that would jump on during the show, and we'd have little conversations and stuff like that. It was really cool.
So they do see it. They do. That's pretty cool. It says, Streamer says Michael Zakovic is killing it. Cigar Pop. This is something I was going to mention. Says, by the way, my book is live on Amazon now. When I get my copies, I'll get a couple sent to the First Lady, but I won't get them until mid-August. But if you buy it, you'll get it in a couple days. One of the things I talked to, or I mentioned during the First Lady show, what was it, a couple weeks ago, when he was talking about his book coming out, I said that the channel would buy a few copies to give away. So I'm super looking forward to taking the channel card and buying some copies and adding them to giving them to some giveaways. Also reading one for myself just to see what it all is about.
We've got cigar books. We got the J.C. Newman book. We got another book. We got a history book, but they just collect dust. This book I think I'm going to put next to the couch, because I spend about a half an hour every night before I go to bed sitting on the couch thumbing through my phone. So I think I'm going to do some reading.
But if you're looking for the link is over on the Discord. We have a channel on the Discord that's called Lifestyle Support, I do believe is what I've titled it. And he posted a link in that channel, if I do remember. So if you want to join the Discord, if you're not already a part of the Discord, it is the second link in the description. It's in the Lifestyle Support tab. It is the link is in the description to join the Discord if you're not a part of the Discord. Speaking of Discord, I did something this week that I didn't do last week, Bob Cigar Guy.
You picked 2?
No, I picked 1 because I didn't even pick 1 last week. I did a Chief Talks stick pick of the week. Now, before I show this photo, I already posted it on Discord, so everybody who's on Discord already knows who won. But I will say, this person had told me, hey, man, I want to post pictures, but I don't want you to consider me for stick pick of the week ever. And I told him that was not going to happen, at least once. So from now on, you'll never be considered for stick pick of the week. But my boy.
Unless something comes out just so amazing you can't help but post it.
Well, he requested it, and I'm going to honor his request, because there is no cigar photographer like Supreme Tobacco.
Absolutely.
He's the best in the business. But Supreme Tobacco is this week's stick pick of the week. Jeez, Stogie picture of the week. Post a picture of your cigar on Discord to be considered for next week's pick, if I remember. This is Supremo Tobacco's love affair with the Stillwell Holiday Edition, I believe 2022, from Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust. Congratulations, Supremo Tobacco.
Now, I'm going to tell you, with that picture up, you can speak to his connoisseur ability in cigars and the clarity of that picture with his craftsmanship and quality.
But the composition is unlike any other.
What I want you to notice is the hand. That's a warrior's hand.
Oh, that's a meat hook.
But the fingernails are nice and they're not dirty and they're well kept, and so that means that he has some elegance about him as well. So he is an elegant warrior.
Well, I will say, something that people won't know just by picture is how soft those hands are. To be caressed by Supremo Tobacco is to be loved, and if you've never been loved, buy tickets to the Supremo Tobacco caressing show because they are nice. They are nice.
Wow.
So let's
onlyhands.com.
Only hands. So he said he didn't want to win ever, but I'm too selfish to not let him get in there. So if you want to be considered for a stick pick of the week, Chief's Stogie picture of the week, you've got to go get on the Discord. And when you're smoking cigars, if you want to try to take a super autistic photo, or if you want to just take a photo and just it be a photo, some of our photos have not been the most artistic in sense. They've just had a story to tell. And there were, because I had 2 weeks to go through for this picture, or for this week's stick pick of the week, there were a bunch of photos on there that were nice little stories. Sammy Flo had one where he was walking down the street and he was smoking a JC Newman Diamond Crown, Connecticut, I believe it was. And it had a big old long ash on it. I was like, dang, that's a really good photo. And there were a couple others, like, who was it? John Solis, my boy. He had a picture where he was smoking super early in the morning and the moon was right above him and it was shining through the clouds and it looked ominous.
Do you know about John Solis?
I know he's the man.
He is a law enforcement officer. He's over 50 years old, and he takes his fitness and his job very seriously. And he also posts videos, little short videos of him encouraging other people to get out. And he runs up hills. He does hill climbs in full gear. I mean, he's just awesome. And one of the most genuine, kind people that I've ever had a chance to meet through social media. He's one of those top people that I've had the pleasure to get to know him through the intranet.
As the kids would say, you guys are super glazing Supremo Tobacco. I would love to glaze Supremo Tobacco.
He's the Riz.
Let's see. Supremo Tobacco says, I stepped away for 2 minutes, and what a neat surprise. Well, welcome back. Glad to have you. J-Bait says, I thought what happened at PCA stays at PCA. I'm not kissing and telling.
If he's glazing, would that be Krispy Kremo tobacco?
That is good. Which one is it?
I'll take them all.
That was good. That was really good, actually.
Tobacco.
I don't usually give you your props whenever you say something funny, but that was well crafted. That was a pretty good one. Sammy Flo says that Diamond Crown was so good. Dan Cruz says, do you guys like cigarillos? Yeah, I think they're actually. I'm gonna step away from the mic for half a second.
I got some tins right here. The Liga 9. Great when it's corn sweaty outside.
These are little Cubans that I have, and they are like bona fide, like cigarillos, right?
Cheroots,
whatever. But they're Monte Cristos that you got when you were on your cruise last year.
Spain. Those came from España.
España. Maybe that's why all of the labeling inside is in Spanish. So,
maybe so.
But yeah, these are cigarillos are really cool. I'm going to step away from the mic for just half a second again.
Great break time smoke. Great Share with a friend, smoke, great. You ain't got a lot of time, but you want to get a little bit going on. Fantastic thing to have. And if you have the corn sweats or the meat sweats, you want to get back in the house, but you just want to take that moment. It's a great moment.
So these are, I don't know if these are technically cigarillos. They're smaller cigars. These are cohibas. But these are actually pretty cool. It pops open the top and little sits back like that, and then the cigars are right there. I'm actually going to smoke one of those next. But they're little, like, pre-cut, wrapped, kind of like bubble gum, and you just kind of pull the tab and they come loose, and they smoke for
15 minutes.
Not even close.
When I was reorganizing the humidors, moving into the second humidor, I haven't even opened the third humidor hardly at all. But in the second humidor, we have a box of Davidoff cigarillos.
Oh,
I forgot we had them. We've had them for probably 5 years.
So yeah, cigarillos, like I don't smoke them often because when I smoke cigars, I usually try to do it where I have time to smoke a full cigar or a few cigars. Like I'm on cigar number 4 right now for the day. So I usually, when I smoke, I carve the time out. And so like today I smoked on the way over here. I've smoked a couple. I got here early. Smoked a couple since I've been here, smoking this cigar now. And so usually I don't find myself in a situation where I want to smoke in a pinch. But what's kind of cool is, if you want to kind of change it up, you want to throw a Cuban into your rotation, and you've got the Cuban cigarillos, or the small short Cubans. It's kind of cool to put them in there to, change things up, taste the European palate, the Cuban palate a little bit, and then dive back into a full bodied, North American type cigar. Val Chavez says, John Salas is Alamo Sal, also into coffee and rolling his own cigars. Yes, he is. There he is, John Salas, right there. We're talking good about you. So yeah, cigarillos are dope. I'm a fan of them. I really don't find myself being so short on time and wanting to smoke a cigar that bad where I'm like, oh, let me grab a cigarillo. Acid had I think they called them the C notes.
They did. I didn't care for those.
And so that was kind of fun because they were...
Yeah, they left tobacco really bad in your mouth, little bits and pieces.
I think the thing with cigarillos is like, you just... For me, I kind of expect that because they are so small. They're kind of super loose. And so it's kind of like, I'm just kind of smoking to smoke. Obviously, I'm not at a point where my body's like, I need nicotine or something like that. And not that, cigarillos or cigars, really do that. Because obviously you can get the meat sweats, right? The vitamin N sweats is what the popular reviewers call it. Where you have a little bit too much nicotine in the system after smoking cigar after cigar after cigar. That's why it's nice to have something to pair it with, like a Dr. Pepper. Or, take a break with some food in the mix of your...
I think you were needing a Dr. Pepper today. I think you were having withdrawal because you actually called me and said, hey, did you happen to restock the Dr. Pepper?
Well, no, it wasn't.
You were going to stop pick some up on the way.
I was going to pick them up on the way because
you was going to have you a Dr. Pepper.
When I left last week, there was only one left in the fridge. So... the Landreth Farm says, Bob, your audio is perfect.
He was kind enough to leave me a comment saying that, it'd be nice if you could turn it up just a little bit. And so my short explanation was I'm having to dance between it not being loud enough and when I'm loud in the video, which happens every once in a while, it cracks. It gets, you get that audio garbage.
It's a peak.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see that our audio is sufficient for you all this evening. I do wish that I could have this microphone a little farther away from me, but the way that this one works is you got to kind of be right up on it to sound like I'm right in your ears. I
was at Guitar Center picking up chords for the all of our audio stuff so that they stretch, because the headphones, when we had the headphones, they literally would pull the side of your face because
the cord. It's technically a 10-foot cord, but it's actually like 4 foot with a 6-foot
coil in the middle. But when I was in there, I looked at microphones, and oh my gosh,
No, I'm happy with these microphones. Don't get me wrong.
I so want a microphone upgrade, but the good microphone upgrade is $500, and I'm like, we won't do that this year. Maybe next year.
I'm honestly, I'm happy with the microphones. I like these microphones.
I wish we had an isolator on this thing.
I can hear myself a little bit, or I can hear myself just fine with the microphone pulled a little farther down. So it's working.
But it's got no isolator, so you can hear anything. You do anything, and you can hear it. So, and it's so directed. There were some microphones that were less expensive because they were used, but they were not omnidirectional. Is it omni? Is all directional?
I don't know.
It picks up sounds in the whole room, and I'm like, that would probably be bad for shooting videos and doing what we do, because then you pick up all the ambient noise as well. So
look, like I said, I'm happy with these microphones. I think they sound great. I think they do a really good job picking up noise and picking up sound. And now that I have moved it away from my mouth just a little bit, I can still hear myself just fine. And nobody said, "Hey, Chief, we can't hear you anymore." As I'm relighting my cigar, I've got a comment that I want to get to. I'm just relighting my cigar. Mike Morton says, "Fellas, been one heck of a week. Work is kicking my butt. Wife's only let me smoke on the weekends. Need a great stick for quitting time tomorrow. Suggestions? Dunbarton, maybe? Ooh,
Dunbarton's great.
That's not a bad cigar to break the no smoke blues.
Now, one stick, I'd have to go with the Sin Compromiso. That'd be the first one. If budget was not a concern, and I was going to sit down and pay attention to it, and it was the only cigar I was going to smoke, it'd be a Sin Compromiso. But there's not one cigar in the rotation that I wouldn't be happy that I smoked.
Ultimately, that's kind of what it kind of goes down to. Is like, well, one, what's in your humidor? Unless you're planning on stopping by a local tobacconist, probably any cigar is going to be a great cigar for you. My biggest suggestion would be, hey, whatever you normally like to get back to smoking, hey, man, smoke that cigar. Now, let it remind you why you love it so much.
You can get this Cohiba Spectre and smoke that. Great cigar.
Whatever.
Only 150
Dolores
George Washingtons. That humidor's dope. Have you seen the video on that humidor that they put out?
I mean, I've seen like pictures of it.
Oh, they do the opening of it and everything. To me, it feels like a Terminator kind of thing, except out of mahogany. Gorgeous
Get
humidor.
to the champa.
But it would make no sense to own it except if you had a gentleman's study, and that was one of your signature things on one of your shelves. But
Mike, I would say if you're already putting in maybe Dumbarton, I would say it's almost like your heart's craving a Dumbarton. Go with a Dumbarton, and honestly, you're not going to go wrong with any of them. I'm not going to go the Sin Compromiso line. I'm going to say if you've got the ability to get a Papasaka, get a Papasaka.
Big stick.
No, that's Saka Khan. What you're thinking
Saka
of?
Khan.
Yeah, the Papasaka is the smaller one, but I think that's one of my favorite cigars from Dumbarton right now.
The Elegante and Cedros.
The Liga Privada, number 9. That'd be a great cigar to kick back with. Let's go a little bit off the beat here. Let's that new Aletto from Blackworks, Black Label Trading Company. That's a really good cigar. I really enjoyed that cigar. The Pennsylvania Broadleaf Cro-Magnon from Romacraft. Oh yes. Chunk Maduro from Alec Bradley. Oh yes. I mean, you just can't go wrong.
Adventura's Blue-Eyed Jack.
Not a bad shout. Bob Ellis, who was on vacation last week, said you can't go wrong with Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust. Jim Jurasek says Dumbarton makes everything brighter.
What foundation would you suggest?
If I was going to say, Menelik.
Yeah. Not a Senator?
No, Menelik. I'm going Menelik. I mean, Senator's great, but I mean, it's probably going to be hard to find a Senator. You'll find a Menelik faster. The rebranded Wiseman Maduro, Olmec Claro. I mean, those are some
that 10 year is good too.
I haven't had the 10-year. I didn't get the 10-year.
10 years.
I got the event exclusive cigar from them, but I did not get the 10-year.
Unbanded.
Yeah, the one that was unbanded.
I got one of those too.
Cigar Pop says, I'll be gone for the next few weeks because I'm getting my knee replaced. Then rehab on Monday. The problem is it's a smoke-free campus, so no cigars. I'm going through withdrawal just thinking about it. Well, Cigar Pop, if you need to take a little bit of the edge off, we will have a show next week, Thursday. Let me look at my calendar again because I think next week is, yes. Yeah, so next week is the last Thursday before Barn Smoker. Because we're gonna fly
Barn Smokers in 2 weeks.
Yeah, Barn Smokers 8th and 9th. We fly up on the 7th, it's a Thursday. So we probably most likely are not going to have a Chief Talk from Connecticut because we're definitely not having a second Saturday with the First Lady in Connecticut, and that would be mean to me to have a live show and her not have a live show. That would be so. True. We will have a show next week, but in 2 weeks we will not have a show. Also, Cigar Pop, prayers are with you, brother. I know that, those surgeries are probably most likely, not the ones that you have to truly worry about going into, but anytime you go under the knife or possibly go under, it's a, situation you definitely want to come out on top of. So, good vibes, thoughts, prayers, for you and the surgical team and the rehab facility, and everybody's going to be taking care of you. We will miss you. We will smoke in your honor, but if you want to come hang out with us on Thursday night next week, we will be here in the studio smoking cigars for you, my friend. Let's see. Dan Cruz says these mics sound really good already. That's all I like to hear. I bet you can find something on Facebook Marketplace. Same Flows Chief prefers lenses. Heck yeah, buddy. Let's see. Oh, Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust, the now leave me the heck alone, or the shut the front door seems fitting. Omni is all around. Yours are hyper cardioid, very narrow. They are wider cardioids between which might work well. Thank you, Charles Adamson. Michael Zachwick says the Wagashi. That's a good smoke. Jim Jursic says Liga. Great choice. The Shure SM7B is basically the standard podcast streamer mic these days. However, there are a lot of great options. Supreme Tobacco says, if I went with Foundation, I'd hit a Tabernacle.
Here's the problem with buying a microphone. You don't get to try it before you buy it, and they all pretty much look the same. And so,
if you buy it locally, you can try it, and if you don't like it, you take it back.
Right, but who wants to do all that?
Especially if you're going to smoke around it.
Right. So
I bought this microphone the other day at discount, and I opened it up, and it smells a lot like tobacco. Is that a normal thing? Jim Jurasek says the Blue Eyed Jack is fantastic. Michael Zachwick says the JFR 20th anniversary is fire. Blue Eyed Jacks are delicioso. Fireborn says it's evil to watch everybody else smoke cigars. Cigar Pop can't have one. Mike Morton is wishing a speedy recovery as well. Then he says, I think I might bring a cigar to Cold Draw. I did that on the plane to, I think it was Savage Feast in 2022. I brought a Liga Privada T52 on the plane with me, and I just held it in my mouth half of the flight just to be that guy.
Did you really?
I did. I took pictures and everything. They can't yell at you if you don't light it. So Jay Bates says, I like your Dumbarton Tobacco suggestions, Brian. Go with the now leave me the heck alone. Jim says, if you can't have one, have two. That's right. Charles Emerson says, I'm taking the red eye on Wednesday. We'll be in Hartford about noon on Thursday. Oh, you'll be getting into town like 3 hours after us because Bob Cigar Guy decided we need to fly at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, because we have to be there early.
We're gonna go check into the hotel and be like, hey, we're not supposed to check in for like 8 hours. Can you get us in?
You know what I'm thinking about doing since it's a 2
What are you thinking about doing, Bob Cigar Guy? Tell us what you're thinking about, Bob Cigar. What are you thinking about doing?
I'll do it.
Oh, can't hear you. Oh, what's going on there? Oh, there you go. You can go.
Okay. I can.
That didn't work like I expected.
It's funny because I can mute that over here on my side too.
the barn smoker is 2 days. And so I'm thinking that possibly, I'm just kicking around the idea, the second night after the first night's over, or first thing in the morning, doing a video in the field when the sun's coming up or something like that, and just doing some kind of something.
Jay Bates, I told him one of the reasons that you wanted to fly in so early is because we needed to stop at that stupid little shop.
Ain't that the truth? That is.
I am going to fly.
Jay Bates, I need a cutter and a lighter, and what else do I need, Jay Bates?
I'm gonna butane. Yeah, because Charles Adamson's coming. We gotta have butane.
No, Jay Bates. What else? What else?
So I'm gonna fly with this. And if they take they're like, oh, you can't have a lighter on the plane because you're supposed to be allowed to fly with Bics.
Jay Bates is something else.
If they don't let me have my Bic and be like, okay, can you just take the Bic and I'll keep the sleeve? Like, there's nothing in here, brother. It's just metal, right? You take the lighter. So I'm gonna take that with me.
Jay Bates is letting me down. That Jay Bates, you are now not allowed to get whatever pocket knife that I buy.
Pocket knives
for the barn smoker. Because when we fly out, I take whatever cheap lighter I had and whatever butane's left, whatever cutter I have, and my pocket knife, and I just kind of put it on the table, and I say, I can't take this stuff. Somebody take it, and they will reach out and grab it in a heartbeat. And so Jay Bates cannot get the pocket knife this time.
Welcome into the show, my brother. Making poor decisions. How you doing? Charles Simpson says he has a 4-hour layover at the Atlanta airport.
Better than a 12-minute layover.
You should have structured your flights, Charles, to fly to. You could have actually flown from LA to Greenville on Breeze direct, and then you could have hopped on an American Airlines flight with Bob Cigar Guy and myself and the First Lady going to Connecticut. We would also still have a layover in Charlotte, so you'd have like two extra layovers. But wouldn't that be fun? Actually, when I originally looked at the flights, I told Jay, I was like, wouldn't it be funny if we could find a flight up to you guys and then a flight jump on because they have a direct flight from Detroit to Connecticut. It wouldn't be funny if we could find the flight that like gets us to Detroit and then flies from Detroit over to
Barn Smoker,
the Barn Smoker, and we could all be on the same flight. I did not find the ability to do that. So, let's see. Dan Cruz says TSA is the opposite of Padron. No consistency. Fireborn
but you don't have to take off your shoes this time.
Hey, praise the Lord. We don't have to smell your corns.
Corn sweats.
Bob Cigar Guy, you should do a cigar devotional that morning, aka a cigar review. Charles Simpson says, I'll get my own butane if I can find a Walmart. There's actually depending on like what the hotel that we stay at, there's a smoke and vape shop. It has a cigar humidor too, right across the street from the hotel. And so we go in there and I don't think you could get pocket knives in there.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, did you get pocket knives in there?
So pocket knife. The hard part about doing the thing at the farm in the field is the logistics, because there's no way Chief is going to want to be out all night hanging out with everybody and then get up at the crack of morning to go drive out and sit at the farm for an extra 3-4 hours before.
So I do have and this is something that you and I will talk about, because we won't have to have the discussion here on the stream, but I do have some ideas of some content that I want to shoot at Barn Smoker this year that we've never shot before. I can talk about this one. I actually want to get a video because we have 2 days, right?
Right.
I want to do a video with you as the narrator and focal piece of being on the farm, like starting off walking through the tobacco or walking through the barns or something like that. And we literally go through what the Barn Smoker experience is in one video. So I'm going to follow you to the activations. I'm going to follow you to the if they're doing the rollings this year, I want to sit down and have you do the class with Henry and Pedro and roll the cigar, and I want to film it and I want to do it all because I want to do an actual comprehensive what it's like to hang out at a Barn Smoker. I also want to do the Barn Smoker ASMR again. 2 years ago, because they didn't go to Connecticut last year. 2 years ago, it was my first ever Barn Smoker ASMR, and that was at the Connecticut Barn Smoker, and that video actually did really well. So I want to try to do some stuff that kind of highlights the actual barn smoker itself instead of just doing. And I want to do like an overview, like hype video, kind of like I've done in the past. But actually, I'm trying to put some thought into some actual content to shoot with you at the barn smoker.
Cool.
So, retired. Oh, sorry. Val Sheva says, "Ooh, a magic lighter for TSA. Now you see it. Now you don't." Retired Rookie Cigar says, "Late to the party as usual, but sitting in the wonderful heat and humidity, smoking the best $7 cigar on the planet, the Sonia Patel RS 88 Connecticut." Nice. It's debatable whether it's the best $7 cigar in the world or not, but for you, it
could
is.
be. That's right.
And I'm happy to hear that you are smoking a cigar that you enjoy and got a good price on it. Charles Evans says, "My miles are on Delta, and that's what they had. At least I get to use the Delta Lounge for the layover." Yeah, we fly American for the most part. And Atlanta's a huge Delta hub. Michael Zakovic says, "That would be awesome, Chief, for those of us who haven't experienced a barn smoker." Yeah, and that's kind of sort of the idea. Is like, I've tried to provide a bird's eye view of some of the stuff that you can see a barn smoker through the year. So we've done barn smokers, and I try to compile some videos, but we've never done a video where where the channel walks you through what the barn smoker is. And that's what I want to do. And we've got 2 days to do it. So we might do it on the second day, might do it on the first day. Just go ahead and knock it out, get the content going while it's at, because that's the main reason we're there, right? Is to capture content as content creators at these barn smokers. That's why True Estate brings us to these things, aside from our handsome faces and big muscles to lug things around.
That's right.
But that is the goal, is to make at least that video. If it doesn't happen, it's because we were so busy with other things that we just couldn't get away from. But the plan at the moment is to shoot a video like that.
It is hard because we go down with a list of all the things we want to do for content, and we get busy helping out and doing stuff. Like Steven actually in, I guess it was Florida, he got to spend time in the VIP studio and doing a ton of work there, which was a new thing. Yeah. So we always want to do whatever they want us to do. And then it's like a family reunion. We get to see so many people that we love and hang out. And then selfishly, we want to enjoy some of the barn smoker experience ourselves, right? We just want to drink it in as well. And, and we're tired. And so, but then we're like, we got to do content as well. And it's gotten to a point now to where Chief and I kind of split up, and we just tag each other every once in a while, say, "How you doing? You drinking? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah." And then I'm off doing my thing. First Lady's off doing her thing. Chief's off doing his thing. And we're just hitting all different angles.
Yeah, I get content. I mean, that's usually the strong backedness for me is usually like the setup day or the teardown nights. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of that because it's a 2-day event this go around. So I'm really looking forward to that. I love doing that. I love being able to be, the hands and feet for Drew Estate a lot. And you're right. At the Florida Barn Smoker last year, I was tasked with working the VIP tent,
which was awesome
for a little while, which was great because it was air conditioned.
I was about jealous because then you also got to hang out with everybody.
I got to be a
you got to rub elbows with the guys.
I got to be a servant for Jonathan Drew, Willie Herrera, and Pedro Gomez. So it's nice. It's nice when those guys see me and they're like, "Oh, I'm so glad to see you. I need you to come do this for me." So, Dan Cruz asks, "Would you ever use a torch lighter on a tobacco pipe in a pinch?"
I have, but with a single jet and not on a very expensive pipe. So this jet
not recommended.
This jet line is really good because it's a direct single jet. It actually lights. Usually it won't do it this time, I bet. It lights straight upside down, so I can line it right over the pipe, and I can toast it and light it.
It's not suggested.
No, it's not.
If you're having to smoke a pipe to save somebody else's life and they only give you a torch lighter, do it. But if you can't, if you don't have a soft flame, get a match. And if you don't have a match, rub some sticks together. Charles Adamson says he's going to bring his Insta360 for some near real-time reels on IG. That is awesome. I'm super looking forward to seeing that.
We're going to bring the drone this time. Oh, wait, we don't have to do that.
Yeah, whatever. Fireborn says, "I thought pipes were best with soft flames or matches."
They are. Absolutely.
Michael Zakovic also says, "Using a torch with a pipe isn't a good idea. Soft flames is best in his opinion."
Facts.
So no, yeah, the Connecticut Barn Smoker is coming up in 2 weeks. It's a 2-day event. Now it's not 2 days for patrons. Unless you bought 2 tickets, I think.
Which people do,
right? And that'll be really cool to see. But yeah, we fly in on Thursday. We have some meetings that we have to do with Drew Estate and go out to the farm and do a whole bunch of stuff like we do every year. Get to hang out with my boy Jay Bates. And then actually we need to book a rental car. I don't know if you've done that yet, but that just came across my mind. Mom, if you're listening, go ahead and pop on the Costco app for us.
Sarah's amazing at all that stuff of organization and getting things lined up. And Florida, it was Florida last year. Our planes crapped out on us, and we ended up getting a rental car and drove it the whole way down, the whole way back, which wasn't bad because it was a Jeep Cherokee, one of the big Cherokees.
It was a Grand Wagoneer.
Yeah. That was nice.
The driver's seat was terrible. It hurt. It really hurt. And Mom was like, I don't know why, because she rode in the passenger seat on the way down. And I just complained like 4 hours into the drive of a 9-hour drive. I was complaining just how much my back was hurting. She's like, I don't know why your back's hurting. This seat's so comfortable. It's such a nice car. And she drove most of the way on the way back. She's like, oh my gosh, the seat kills my back. I was like, it's not supposed to be so bad on your back. So hopefully we can avoid that this year.
Let's hope.
Knock on wood here.
Because driving to Connecticut would be a drive.
That's a drive. We drove to the Pennsylvania Barn Smoker a few years ago, and that was a haul. What was it? 16 hours.
It was crazy.
That was not great. It was a fun drive because we went into Philly. I mean, we made the drive longer because we decided to go to Philly because we wanted to have authentic Philly cheesesteaks, not the Arby's ones. Which, now that I've had authentic Philly cheesesteaks, I don't ever have to have them again because I've had. They might be the best Philly cheesesteaks in the world, but Philly cheesesteaks that I have come to love, I can get one. There's literally a Philly cheesesteak like 2 minutes from Bob's Cigar Guy's house, and they are bomb.
And they're good.
They are really good.
They are good.
When I think of a Philly cheesesteak, right, I think of super greasy, fatty, cheesy peppers. The sweet peppers and onions and the meat and whatnot, and just dripping juice down your elbows as you're trying to shove that thing down your gullet. The one in Philly, it was like the bread was good, but it was dry. It's a little tough.
The meat was really shredded.
The meat was good. Pieces. Like it was a good flavor.
It was tasty.
And shout out Mac for telling us to hit up Jim's
and get the Whiz Wit with a orange soda.
And it was good. I mean, I'm glad we did it.
Great experience.
I'm glad we did it. But now that I've done it, I don't ever have to do it again. So, let's see. Charles Adamson says, poor man's drone is an Insta on a 10-foot pole. The software hides the stick. Fireborn says, my friend and I kept watching the Drew Estate site for Connecticut Barn Smoker tickets, but they evidently only sold tickets on some other site. Boo. Yeah, they have an Eventbrite website or the Eventbrite website's how they sell their tickets. Chi-Town Cigar Podcast, welcome in, says, hi all, a little late, but I made it smoking a Perdomo Legacy Cane.
Ooh.
Nice. How are you doing?
Talking about that 10-foot pole, remember at PCA, there was a guy walking around with a camera on a stick, and that was like 20 feet tall.
That was Jordan Gutmerson with Cigar Dojo.
It was like 20 feet up in the air.
It wasn't 20 feet.
It was
high. It was high
tall
up there. But they added that footage in as some of their B-roll for some of their videos around booths and whatnot. It's a pretty cool thing. I'd like to have one in the future for because you can mount it onto your camera and you can use it as like a behind the scenes kind of sort of thing as you're doing cameras, because there's a couple content creators that I follow on TikTok that are photographers, wedding photographers, and they'll be it records them as they're talking or whatnot, and as they're talking or whatever they're saying, the camera looks, you put the camera software to look at you, and then as you're looking at you're talking to your audience or they're talking back, it flips over to them. It's really cool how it works.
Well, there's no way that you would put your camera on top of a 20-foot pole and walk around with it. I just don't see you doing that.
No, but that would be holding 20 pounds, 20 feet in the air. No way.
With a wiggly wobbly thing going. Oh, no.
Thank you.
No.
Chi-Town says they're so good he bought himself a box. Fireborn says, yeah, Mr. Zach Vec, a friend, and she has been to a barn smoker and even gave BTCG a hug for me. So, ha.
She did.
So I no Barnsmoker's coming up quick. It's kind of snuck up on us. This year with Barnsmoker being 3 events but 2 locations, it kind of it used to be, because Barnsmokers have started for the past few years around this time. But it used to be Barnsmoker started before the summer. You had one during the summer, like 2 during the summer, and then you had 2 in the fall, or 2 events in the fall. And so it's kind of like Barnsmoker all year round. Now
Right.
Barnsmoker season is just such a small,
It's compact.
it's like the beginning of quarter 3 and the beginning of quarter 4 or something like that.
yeah, it's like what, October, November?
November. I think it is November. The Florida Barnsmoker. So it's kind of nice that 2 of the events are at the same farm 2 days. So it's going to be a nice, fun weekend to hang out with the homies, hang out with the people who have traveled to Barnsmoker to come and hang out and see each other at the event and talk and take a break and whatnot. I'm super excited to see anybody who is currently watching or watches the channel or hangs out with us or is in the Discord or whatnot and is going to go to the Barnsmoker this year. Charles Adamson, obviously, being one. So super stoked to be able to see Charles Adamson again and hang out with him and just have a really good time. This is the 3rd Barnsmoker event that I'll have been to with Charles Adamson. A few years ago it was Florida. Was it last year was Kentucky for you? And this year Connecticut. So he's slowly knocking them off the list. Now there is no Pennsylvania or Louisiana this year, or Kentucky for that fact. So hopefully the Louisiana and the Connecticut and the Kentucky will come back in the future, and people who have experienced the other ones and haven't experienced those get a chance to experience those. I am sad about Kentucky. I love Kentucky Barnsmoker.
Yeah.
It's not like the greatest like town to kind of sort of be, because there's nothing around it. But I love it because that was our first one. It was the genesis of Barnsmokers in
smell
general.
of the barn.
And it's really, that barn is, there's no experience like that barn. And just being able to see the firing process and smelling the smoke going all day in the barbecue. Right. It's an actual Southern barbecue kind of sort of flavor. So,
one year they had it on a flatbed. Remember that? They pulled the big old flatbed out and they just laid all the food out on a flatbed. It was a real cool vibe.
Yeah. I finished my H99. I'm going to jump into this little cigarillo.
But now Drew Estates, they're always evolving, always changing. And so they've got the family reunion in Kentucky. And then they've got the Tortoliga on the other side of the Mississippi.
Over
I wouldn't be surprised.
Arizona.
I wouldn't be surprised if Drew Estate doesn't start maybe moving different events to, let's say, California or something like events, that as well.
Not Barnsmokers,
right? It won't be. You kind of have to have a barn and tobacco.
Here's the thing about the barn smoker itself, and this is why I kind of don't get when people say, "Well, why don't you bring a barn smoker to Washington State or Idaho or Dallas, Texas, or something like that?" It's like, the barn smokers are barns that cure tobacco that Drew Estate uses in their cigars. Kentucky is the Kentucky Fire Cure cigars, and it's part of the Pappy Van Winkle cigars. Florida is the formerly FSG, now 20 Acre Farm. Well, it's not the same blend, it's 2 different blends, but FSG originally, now it's 20 Acre Farm, with possible cigars in the future, I'm sure. Pennsylvania is some of the Pennsylvania broadleaf that they use in some of the Ligas Parada cigars. Connecticut, same thing. And then Louisiana is where they do the Perique process for the Pappy Van Winkle cigar. So a barn smoker itself has to be, in the writing of a barn smoker, it has to be a barn that has something to do with Drew Estate. Right. So they could technically do a barn smoker in the Dominican Republic now, or Nicaragua. Right. So,
well, I know they're always, every year they talk about doing safari, but one of the things with safari is you have to make sure there's no civil unrest, and you have to make sure that everything is everything. And Drew Estate has grown so much. I forget who I was speaking to about it, but all the spaces that they used to have to do things, they don't have anymore, because they are just stacking tobacco, and they are making more rollers and more tables and more rooms. And you would not believe the size of the compound that Drew Estate, and now they have places over in different parts of Esteli where they store tobacco and do processing as well.
Paul Ellis says that he sure hopes the Kentucky Barn Smoker comes back because it's the only one he can make too. And that's kind of the thing about the Kentucky Barn Smoker is, from my understanding, is having 2 events in Kentucky at different times it's probably expensive. To one, you've got the events. You're trying to do something that's not a barn smoker with the Kentucky Castle. It's a different kind of an experience, right? It's not a barn smoker. It's an experience of sitting down, hanging out, smoking, ligas, and getting the ability to buy the family reunion liquor that they have, that's select barrels for Drew Estate. And it's like a whole dinner thing. And then the Tour de Liga experience is a tour of the Liga Privada process. And it's kind of it's a suit and tie kind of sort of event, where you get to sit down and smoke a lot of ligas, drink a lot of drinks, and hang out and just have a really good time and learn, kind of like Barn Smoker, the Liga process. You get to walk through and do the Liga 9, the T52, the H99, and you get to see the soil and the tobacco, and you get to hear from Pedro, you get to hear from Willie, and you get to hear from Isola.
And you get to smoke the wrapper.
Right, you get to do the tabacchiatos. You get to smoke the wrapper leaf. It's just a wrapper, and that's the only way that you can do it is through the Tour de Liga process, or PCA, but it's the Tour de Liga process at PCA.
Which was so educational.
They probably won't have that at PCA next year, I'm sure.
Because I know they taste different. The Ligas taste different. But then when you smoke those, you go to one area and you're smoking one, you go to another area, you smoke another, and it's back to back to back, and they are so different between the flavor profiles in the smoke quality and the oils, the way it just sits on your palate. Right. It was really interesting to do that.
Well, that's the special thing about Barn Smoker is you get to see the tobacco on the ground. Like that's the only way that you can see Drew Estate's tobacco on the ground is if you go to Drew Estate's tobacco that's being grown on the ground. And I do follow Dunn Foster Farms on Instagram, and they keep posting every day in their stories all of the tobacco that's out in the fields and in the barns and whatnot. So it looks like there's going to be a barring some weird storm in between, the next 2 weeks. So we pray that that's not a problem.
Is the front field going to have tobacco?
I can't tell which field has what.
Because that is the most gorgeous picture.
I imagine probably not, because that's such a good spot for parking.
Oh my gosh, it is so beautiful.
It is beautiful.
The barns are framing out that tobacco. It's just, the tobacco's short. It's only 3.5, 4 feet tall. It's perfect to go stand out 10 rows deep and have that backdrop. Right. Oh my gosh. And the weather's always been great. Every time we went, other than it's been extremely dry and dusty one year. But it's always been gorgeous. The Simpsons clouds in the background is just an amazing picture.
Charles Adamson says, is there any rumor on a West Coast event next year?
I don't know about it.
So from my understanding, the Tour de Liga and the family reunion are going to be yearly things. I think they are replacing some of the Barn Smoker events. I don't know if in the future Drew Estate's going to do multiple day Barn Smokers. A few years ago for the Savage Feast, the 25-year DE25 event, they did every Barn Smoker except for one of them, I think it was, or maybe two of them weren't 2-day events. I know not all of them were 2-day events. Most of them were. And then you had the Dallas, final, big Savage Feast. And so that was the last time we had 2-day events, and we have a 2-day event this year. So maybe they do, I don't know why Florida is not a 2-day event. I don't know if it just didn't work out with the farm. Jeff Borshwitz does have to run a business with that farm. So Connecticut's 2 days this year. Maybe next year they bounce it around, spread some love to Pennsylvania or Louisiana or Kentucky again. But to my knowledge and my best guess, the family reunion being in Kentucky, I think, kind of takes out the Kentucky Barn Smoker. But again, this is just speculation. This is not anything that I've heard.
We
from
have
anybody.
no inside information.
This is just me thinking out loud. But to my knowledge, the Tour de Liga is supposed to be like the West Coast situation. It's supposed to happen every year, I imagine. Now, whether it's in Arizona every time, I don't know. It gets easier. Like if you do an event in one spot and you do a good enough job and they like you and they're like, yeah, please come back whenever you want.
Right.
It's nice to say, oh, well, we have that in the bag. Right.
But Drew Estate doesn't ever do the same thing. Let's look at the history of Barn Smokers. I mean, at first it was just an event. It was the day event, and then they did the VIP dinner the night before, right?
Right.
And then they would have the event the next day, and then they came out with the Savage Feast, which was the 2 days. And you got to go
3
to,
because you had the full VIP night the one night before,
and those were the craziest venues ever.
Right, the VIP venues,
amazing venues. Steel Horse Ranch, or what was that?
The
Horsepower Ranch, the airplane museum.
MB Roland for Kentucky.
Dallas was where the TV show Dallas was shot.
Yeah, the ranch.
South
Fork Ranch. Yeah.
Now
this year they are doing. Last year was the very first family reunion, and they're doing the family reunion again at the Kentucky Castle. So maybe this is the first time that Drew Estate's going to do the same event. And honestly, with that kind of thing, I don't know if you have to change it. And with and I've said that with Barnsmoker. Like, I don't think they need to actually change anything with Barnsmoker, because people aren't coming to experience something new. From my conversations with people, they're just coming to hang out, smoke Drew Estate cigars, hang out with their friends, and have a good herf out on a farm. And you see that, with the big tent that they have at the Barnsmoker events, where instead of people going to the activation stations and doing the classes or whatever, when you go to the Willie spot or the Pedro spot or the JD spot, and you learn about the tobacco in the barn or in the field or in the curing process, people will just sit in the tent. One of the reasons for that is because sometimes it's hot. They just don't want to be out beating in the sun. They just want to sit down, smoke, drink, have a good time, and that's what it is. Eli's spinning he's got the music going. And, so it's a really good time. Usually. So, Charles, I don't know of any conclusive evidence of rumors about a West Coast event, but from the conversations that I've been around, I think that is something they plan to stick and stay on. Supreme Tobacco says there sure are a lot of tents in California. We could have a tent smoker. Are you talking about the homeless population? Bob Ellis says the whole pig on the flatbed was great. Fireborn says I'm smoking in my tent right now, Supremo. It's in my garage in Colorado, but it's west of you. J-Bed says the Tortoliga was a pretty dope experience. Supreme Tobacco says I'd love a tent to smoke in and keep all these mosquitoes away.
Wasn't the Road Dogs wearing purple suits?
Blue. Yeah, Michigan blue. Bob Ellis says those are cool events for sure, but the Barnsmoker is more my style. And Kentucky has the new Whiskey Trail to do before or after. That is a nice little thing to kind of do. And I think the family reunion is closer to the Whiskey Trail, the Bourbon Trail.
We've driven past that castle, going out to Barnsmokers.
I didn't know that. Michael Zakvik says his cigar studio lounge is the best. J-Bay says, I know the family reunion is happening again in September. I would think the West Coast would get the Tortoliga again, Charles, if I had to guess. I learned a lot at Barnsmoker. I had no idea they actually fire cure the tobacco in the barn. Charles Adamson says, my Schnauber's friend likes the upscale vibe of the Tortoliga. He won't get his fancy shoes dirty on a farm. Or he won't, he doesn't want to go to get his shoes dirty.
Well, here's the thing. There was a lady who was wearing extremely expensive Nikes, evidently. I'm not a Nike fiend because I can't afford it, and I don't know what you're supposed to buy, what you're not supposed to buy, because you can get laughed at if you come in some funky Nike shoes. But there was a lady there, was dressed to the nines, and she had on those shoes, and it was in Connecticut, and she put Walmart bags around her shoes and walked around with Walmart bags on the whole time. It was interesting.
Interesting.
You don't remember that?
I remember you telling me about it. I didn't see it.
You were dancing. That was
the event that I died.
That was
almost.
That was the death.
J-Bait says, I believe that's the case, Chief, but I'm not 100% certain, so don't quote me. I'm just going based off of things that just the best guess scenario.
Sammy First Lady has corrected me. She's trolling because she's not commenting. She said that when Sarah and I went on vacation up there, that's when we saw the castle. So the castle's not. You probably haven't seen the castle.
I don't think so. It's on the other side of Kentucky. Sammy Flo says, I'm excited for whatever they do for the 30th year event next year. Let's see. Making poor decisions says, I'm smoking in the back of my truck.
My man.
Serena Truck says, need to hop off, fam. Time to pack up and head home. It's Brian. Thanks for hanging out with us, brother.
Safe travels.
Is he on a vacation coming up? I think it is. So have a great vacation if you're going on vacation this week. or weekend, because it's about to be the weekend. Do you classify Friday as the weekend?
No,
I do. It's like the
Friday at 5, like when the weekend starts when you watch I Got the Smokes, Let's Ride, Camacho Presents a podcast by me, BTCG, which this will be the one that has the new Chief stuff. I jumped the gun on that.
We talked about that last week on the show. I was like, oh yeah, you're going to have the new stuff coming up on the podcast. And then I clicked the podcast to watch, and I was like, well, it's not on. So let me fast forward through and see where he pops it up at. And I was like, that sucker, you done recorded an extra podcast and put it in there and forgot about it.
I did. I forgot about it.
So this week is the brand new layout for the I Got the Smokes, Let's Ride podcast. J8 says, I've seen guys more so in PA and Connecticut wear expensive shoes and complain about it. Like, dude, where did you think a barn smoker was held? It's literally in the name. That's my thing is I've never kind of understood the whole, like if you're going to, like, if you want to dress up, you want to wear your nice fancy shoes or clothes or whatever, like do it, hang out. It's just a fun time to sit and
don't fuss.
One, you're going to a cigar event that's not in a store. Right, you're going to hang out.
There is no concrete.
In the weather, so it's Kentucky's a little different because Kentucky's a bunch of gravel for the most part. I mean, it's dirt under the barn floor, but for the most of it, it's a lot of gravel. And they actually brought a ton of gravel out there for the barn smokers to be out there. And it's like it actually sucks because it's super big loose gravel.
Yeah.
And so you can feel it in your feet at the end of the day after you've walked around, 6 miles on a small farm.
Now, I'll tell you the thing that tickles me, and it also kind of sticks in my jaw just a little bit, dealing with barn smoker culture. You'll have people that are standing in line, ready to go on barn smoker, and most people are smoking cigars, and you will see people smoking non-Drew Estate cigars. And I'm fine with that. That doesn't bother me at all. If you like that cigar, smoke that cigar. But there are some people who will go out of their way to show you that they are smoking non-Drew Estate. We actually had a guy at a Florida meetup with Jonathan Drew at one of the barn smokers. It was at the Corona Lounge, Sand Lake, I think it was. And this guy went to Jonathan Drew, and he's wearing a shirt from some other company. And he's flaunting it in front of Jonathan Drew. And Jonathan Drew, and all of his Jonathan Drewness, says, I like your shirt. You see this necklace? It's 23 ounces of gold. Figure it out. And that was the end of the conversation. But it's kind of funny that some people would just go out of their way to try to just be against the grain. Probably doesn't bother you at all, does it, Stephen? Chief?
I'm just wow. 23 ounces of gold is approximately worth $77,740.
It was a huge chain. Long too.
Good night.
No, it was crazy.
You sure it was 23 ounces?
That's what he said.
Whew. That's got to be heavy.
It was big. That's back when he used to wear the green Gucci glasses.
Charles Emerson says, I wore my hunting boots in Kentucky expecting mud. It was hot and dry, so I switched to flip-flops. And that's kind of sort of the thing that kind of sucks, like especially for us, is because we just take a carry-on in a book bag. So if you want to take 2 pair of shoes or multiple pair of shoes, you got to kind of be picky.
Yeah.
If you want to wear a pair and then put a pair in your pack or whatever. But if you fly with a check bag, it's a lot easier to do. But like this year, Connecticut can be really dusty. The first year we went to Kentucky or Connecticut, it was just a dust storm.
Well, that's because they had just done the field and they were going to park in the field, and there were the little stubs of because they do stock cut. So there's little stubs on the bottom of the ground. And so they decided to roll over.
And the year before that, or 2 years before that, it was the Kentucky or the barn soaker where it just rained the whole entire time. So there's always an ability. It just, if you don't want to mess up your clothes, take clothes that you don't mind getting messed up.
Because you're going to sweat them out too.
Fireborn says, common sense is highly valued because it is not common. Ron says, I love that response. That is so JD. Fireborn says, 23 ounces of 24 karat is bling, baby. Making Portiston says, boots all day, every day. For Connecticut, I am taking I'm wearing my boots up and back.
Now, the first lady and Shandy Jade saved us in Louisiana because they had a category storm the night before, and it was so swampy. First Lady and Shannon Jade went to a Tractor Farm Supply that had no air conditioning, and they bought us mucker boots,
literal
Gordon's fisherman boots.
Yeah, no, that was
shorts and camouflage Gordon fisherman boots.
Well, that was bad because there were parts of the farm during the setup before the event started that were a foot underwater.
Yeah, and the tents got trashed, and
that was. I think that was the event where it was like, these guys are for real.
Yeah,
they had bought a truck full of pine straw, and there were a bunch of people who will remain nameless who were like, I ain't touching no pine straw. I get paid for that. And we were like, we gonna touch it. It ain't bothering us.
Yep.
People were like, there might be snakes in there. Okay, well, we'll say hello to the snakes and we'll throw them to you when we get them. So
Chief got in the truck and he started throwing out bales, and you just started seeing they were like 30-pound bales or small bales, square bales, and he's just slinging them out of there, just flat out slinging them. And people are like trying to peel the orange strings off. And I'm like, look, no, don't do that. Just grab those strings, shake it one time, and then kick it around.
Right.
And so it ended up where Stephen was chunking them out of there. Chief was chunking them out of there. And I was ripping the strings off and just kind of halfway busting them up. And then a lot of other people were kicking them out smooth. So, I mean, we got that done fast. That was a lot of bales.
Yeah, it had to be fast because the event was like 45 minutes away. So we had, and there were still some spots that were just so soaked. Even a foot of pine straw wasn't enough.
That bathroom was wrecked by the time it was over with mud.
So it's just the blue collar worker mentality of just get in and do it. It's if you sit back and complain about it, nothing's going to get done. So you might as well get in there and get it done and be done with it. I mean, if you're uncomfortable for the day because pine straw will tear your arms up
fast.
Not only is it super acidic, but those pine straws are, I can't remember the actual shape of it, but they've got the sharp edges or the serrated edges on them.
It's like a triangle.
And so you can really mess yourself up. So it was a work of love, a labor of love.
It was a blast.
I don't regret it.
I had a great time doing it. I enjoyed doing that struggle and getting with a bunch of people that are like-minded, that are just wanting to stay. If you don't have moments like that, you don't have good stories to tell. And at some point of our lives, we're not going to be able to do anything but tell the stories that we've already done.
Right.
And so if you don't have anything to talk about when life is coming to an end, that's kind of boring, right? You only get to go around once. Why not make it worth talking about?
Some sad news.
In
the celebrity kicked off with Malcolm Jamal Warner passing away earlier in the week. Best known as Theo from the Cosby Show. I did not know that you and Theo were the same age. I didn't
either.
Yeah, he was born in 70. He was not yet 55, but he was born in 1970. I know he went on to do some other stuff, and I now realize, like, because I watched the Cosby Show as a kid growing up, from Theo being young to Theo growing up and getting out of the house. But by the time I was watching it, it was already off the air. Right, it wasn't a live show. I was watching, we would watch multiple of those shows in a row, But so I always kind of grew up thinking he wasn't too much terribly older than me, but I mean, he's old as my dad. Which I guess in a certain retrospect, you're not terribly older than me. You were 21 when I was born. Right. So, but then Ozzy passed away. That was expected. He just did his
final farewell tour.
It really wasn't a tour, it was just the show. And correct me if I'm wrong here, if anybody knows, but I believe the venue that he did it was the very first big venue he ever did. With not as Ozzy, but with Black Sabbath. And so they after the show, I had read that there were a bunch of people who were speculating that Ozzy was going to go off to, I think it was Switzerland, and do the assisted suicide or whatever it was, where you basically kind of euthanize, you just drift off sweetly in your sleep. But then I had read some stuff that he was going to try to stay around for, I think it was a wedding of one of his kids. But he passed away. And then today, Hulk Hogan passed away. And then also today, Chuck Mangione passed away. Yeah. The only things that I know Chuck Mangione from are from King of the Hill, which is funny because a couple weeks ago I was on the Chi-Town Cigar podcast and we were talking about cartoons, and I defended King of the Hill to the death as long as I could, not by myself. There, a few of us were happy that King of the Hill continued to make it as far as they did, but Chuck Mangione is like a protagonist to Hank Hill in the series, but then also Chuck Mangione is referenced in the first Doctor Strange movie, where he has not yet become Doctor Strange. He's Dr. Stephen Strange. It's at the beginning of the movie when he's doing doing surgery, and one of his people that are in there with him, he's doing like a quick lightning round of music, and they're trying to stump him on when the music was released, and he's like, "Oh, come on, this is too easy. Chuck Mangione, 1977." And like, "Oh, we got you. It's 1978." He's like, "Nope. It charted in 1978, but it was released in December of 1977. And one of the ladies looks at him and says, "What do you do with all this useless knowledge in your head?" And he's like, "Useless knowledge? The man charted the top 10 hit with a flugelhorn." Yeah, that's the only thing that I know Chuck Mangione from is from those two pop culture references. But there were people who were like, "Oh, well, we don't have to worry about any more celebrity deaths because they always come in threes." Well, there was a fourth.
I was a Hulkamaniac. I did the whole thing where you tear your shirt. I got in trouble for doing that for sure. I don't remember where I got it from. It was a Christmas present, either from my sister, my mom, or First Lady. It's been so long, but it was a huge glass like stein that had Hulkamania on it. And real early in our marriage, we put sand from a beach.
Oh, is that what that? And I remember the glass with the sand in it.
Yeah, that's it. And it's up in the attic somewhere. I still got it.
Worth a little pretty penny now. You might want to.
Maybe.
I want to go see what the old eBay is saying.
What would you do?
So yeah, the Hulkamania is gone. Well, I guess the Hulkamania is still here, and the Hulkamaniacs are still here.
Well, he switched to
Hollywood.
Hollywood. He went to Hollywood Hulk Hogan, which was a darker character, and so, you know, the Captain America Red, White, and Blue guy that Hulk Hogan was. You know, when he went to Hollywood, it changed, and he's not that same guy. It's more of an Undertaker kind of character.
Yeah. So, yeah, I had some passings this week. I'm gonna pull up. I had a few press releases go out this week. We'll jump through those as we're ending the show. Oh, that's not what I wanted at all. Oops. How do I spell ChevetteReport.com? There you go. And then let's come over here and present a screen, share a screen from a window. That one right there. To the windows, to the walls. Come on, baby. Show me the pictures. Why are you not showing me the pictures? Come on. Well, that's embarrassing. It's probably because I'm streaming. All right, so Cohiba crosses the divide with the Rubicon. Look at that. It's a nice orange band with the Cohiba name on there. 3 cigars that are going to be 3 different cigars, I believe. 3 Vitolas. Box pressed Robusto, a Toro, and a Gigante coming out of Cohiba. Also, CAO introduces the Surplus line. 3 separate cigars. I think it is the Shade, the Sweet, and the Maduro. Nice looking bands on those.
I wonder why they didn't drop those at PCA.
I mean, they could have. We didn't get to go over to the general STG booth this year. I mean, we didn't get anybody to respond back to us to go over to the booth. So maybe they were at PCA. This is the one that I'm really excited about. Is this new Alec Bradley, the new Kintsugi, the Wabi Sabi. And I will say, when I saw the name Wabi Sabi on the Kintsugi, I thought that was going to be like a dojo collab. But
I thought the same thing.
Alec Bradley announces the launch of the Kintsugi Wabi Sabi. Fun name, by the way. A limited edition follow-up to one of the brand's most celebrated cigars. Shipping on August 1st, this release draws inspiration from the Japanese concept of wabi sabi, the belief that there's beauty in imperfection, authenticity, and natural passage of time. Crafted by renowned blender AJ Fernandez in Esteli, Nicaragua, Kintsugi Wabi Sabi was blended with the intention of honesty. Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, Mexican binder, and Nicaraguan fillers were chosen not for uniformity, but for the richness, depth, and natural variation that they bring to each draw. The result is a medium to medium plus cigar that's balanced, expressive, and quietly confident. It's a beautiful band. I love that green.
Agreed. I love the original Kintsugi with the blue band.
Yeah, the blue and the gold and the white. Now this one does not look to have the fun band work on it,
right,
like the original Kintsugi does.
But the box does.
No, this box is dope. That's a really cool box.
Yeah, that's a Kintsugi box.
I don't know. It looks like it's recessed.
It does look like
right?
it's recessed. I was thinking the same thing.
Like it's been drilled out or something like that. Maybe it's just painted on. I'm not sure. Lighting can be tricky. Vega Fina relaunching to the U.S. Monte Cristo celebrates 90 years with a rare limited edition masterpiece.
What are those round things? Are those coins?
I think
those
they're poker chips. Yeah, it comes with this box is being launched with a watch company. So it's got the let's see. This was actually a really long press release. This is one of the longest one that I've ever put out there. But along with the actual cigar and it being released, they are doing all of these anniversary event tours. So August 30th, they're going to be in Chicago. September 10th, my birthday, they're going to be in Boca Raton. September 12th, Boynton Beach. September 19th, Orlando. Then Tampa, Whippany, New Jersey. Two events at the same time. On October 10th, they've got Whippany, New Jersey, and West Palm Beach, Florida. Then Nashville, Tennessee in the middle of October. The end of October, Las Vegas. And November 6th, Hollywood, Florida. And then you've got these this watch that the company that they're doing this. I think it's the BRM company. You got this cool watch that's going to be. I don't know if it's it's only 35 pieces that are going to be available. So it's featuring space for 18 cigars, a watch winder, custom playing cards, dice, poker chips, and the last chip game card. So that's what all of this is here in this photo. I guess that's the chip card. These are some of the maybe that's the poker chips, that's the playing cards, and these are the dice, the watch winder, and space for 18 cigars. With that, so that's a really dope presentation.
Absolutely.
Probably one of the coolest presentations that we've seen this year.
Seems like everybody's stepping up their humidor games right now. Really diving into the accessory lane.
Well, if you're in the business of making cigar swag and accessories, you might be doing really good right now.
Really good.
Then Drew Estate unveils the customer exclusive acid long legs for the Great Lakes Cigar Festival,
which is this weekend, isn't it?
I think so. You've got this acid blondie that's been turned into a Lancero called the long. It's got a little shaggy foot down there. And then this is one we talked about at the top of the show, was the Alec Bradley is unveiling their new Mellow Monster, the Chunk Shade. I am a sucker for the the Chunk Maduro that Alec Bradley has. It's a great cigar, so I'm really looking forward to seeing the Chunk Shade hit retailers. It's 3 Stout Vitolas, the XL, which is a 4x60. That seems to be the normal size. Right there, it's $6 a cigar, so it's $1 more expensive than the regular Chunk Maduro. The 3XL, so they skipped over 2XL. They just went over double XL. Is what is that? 6 millimeters more in girth for $1.40 40 cents more, 60, 70 cents more. And then the 4XL, the 4x80. What a cigar.
That's 1 1/3 inches across.
That's going to hurt.
That's a quarter. That's bigger than a quarter.
Now, maybe they heard your critiques, Bob Cigar Guy, about the chunk being such a small cigar. You know,
it's short. It doesn't need to be thicker. It needs to be longer. It needs to last longer.
Well, then it wouldn't be a chunk.
You know what? I don't care. I wish they'd come up with the chunk long legs or chunk stretchy or the chunk.
So the XL and the 3XL come in boxes of 20, while the 4XL comes in a box of 18. The cigars are handcrafted in Denali, Honduras. And I think that is the last press really. Oh no, the Jason Newman launched actually this cigar that's right here.
Have you smoked that yet?
No, because it's right here in my hand.
It's tasty.
This is the Tampa.
You can taste the FSG in it.
This is what the celebrate 126 years of Tampa or something like that, or something. 138th birthday of the city of Tampa. They had a big celebration at the Tampa location for Corona Cigar. So these are it's 3 bands. Dope cigar band concept. It's got the JC Newman El Relo on the band. It's got a rooster. But I think chickens walk around part of Tampa, right?
It's got a college. Everything is Tampa based.
Yeah.
Iconic spots.
And then we talked about this one last week. The Altadis announced a 7% price reduction on this brand of the cigars. Yep. So that's all caught up on ChevetteReport.com with the press releases. So right here, pre 10 o'clock, let me look through, see if I've missed any of these. Chinatown Cigar Podcast says, you should have seen Hank Hill's beatdown of Mickey Mouse. Hulk Hogan was only 4 years older than me. Every day is precious. Absolutely. I'm pretty sure some of the health problems with Hulk Hogan stemmed from things that you currently don't do, though. So,
right.
Farmer says, smoke the good stuff because you never know. Mac says he had to move back over to Facebook or YouTube because Facebook was giving him a whole bunch of. Facebook dislikes some expressions of personal freedom. It's a toothy looking shade, and so we need a chunk big boy.
There you go.
Chunk fatty. All right. So right here at 10 o'clock, we're going to wind down the show. We will have a show next week. Don't worry. We will be here. Cigar Pop. If you're missing your cigars enough and you want to come hang out with us, we would be happy to have you here with us in the studio. Bob the Cigar Guy, what have you got to say before you jump on out of here?
This week is probably going to be a full week for you. Summer's here. It's hot and things are in between the holidays. So it's time to grind and get stuff done. Take time for yourself. Take a moment of peace and pause. And if smoking cigars is what you like to do to take that moment, smoke an extra one, right? Just take that moment for yourself. Because if you don't take your break, somebody else will take them from you. And that's not right. So get your break. And I love you. I'm glad that you're here. Thank you for being a part of the channel. Thank you for being part of the family. You make a difference in our lives as well as the rest of the world. Chief, back to you.
I was trying to pull something up. Hold on. Before we go, let me drop us back over here. Let me come over here. I'm probably going to have to add it as an overlay. I wonder if I can do this. Oh, let's do this. And see if we can do this. Share screen. I'm trying to do something that you'll appreciate. Here we go. Speaking of the dust at the Barn Smoker.
My man, Jay Bates.
Here's old Bob Cigar Guy and Jay Bates. And you can see that is not edited bokeh or blur in the background.
Dust.
That is dust. That's Bob Cigar Guy and the Jay Bates, the Road Dog. 2022 Barn Smoker. So hopefully it's not that way this year. Hopefully it's nice and copacetic and we can all have a good time without having to worry about dying from the dust. But maybe bring a little dust cover for your face just in case. Usually,
it'll be worth it.
Usually I bring one of these bad boys, my Shamaz with me, just because I can douse it in water and throw it around the back of my neck and it keeps me cool. But I also use this across my face that year because of the dust. And It was a great time, but it was dirty.
I can't cover my face during Barn Smokers. This is
I
the
wish you
money
would.
maker.
I really
This
wish
is the
you
money
would.
maker right here.
Cigar Pop says, filter the air through a fine cigar.
Facts.
So thanks for hanging out with us this week. Again, let me pop over here, do one of these, do that, do this. Thank you for hanging out with us again this week. It was a great time. I'm going to mute Bob's cigar guy as he's moving his microphone. Thanks for hanging out with us. It was a great time. Really enjoyed just having a night where we didn't have to worry a whole bunch about a show topic. Just doing a good old-fashioned lounge talk where we're sitting around smoking cigars, having a good time, and talking about what's going on in the world. Obviously, there's a lot going on this week with celebrity deaths and a bunch of Chevette Report articles and whatnot. If you're looking to hang out and just have a good time and you're not a part of the Discord already, second link in the description takes you to Discord, where we hang out, smoke cigars, talk, and just have a really good time throughout the week. And if you're not following in the Chevette Report website through your email, it's the first link in the description. Go over there, join the email list, and you'll be able to get an email anytime a press release goes up, because I think I put out 3 today, 2 yesterday. So a nice week for press releases from companies coming out. So we don't want you to miss out on anything that I get comes across my desk. I try to put it out there as quick as I can. Again, thank you all for hanging out with us. Again, we're going to mention, just because it's not June anymore doesn't mean that we can't mention mental health. Mental health is super important. And if you're ever going through something, please feel free to reach out. We'd love to talk to you, to hang out, and see what's going on, and try to provide our best dad advice that we can, because we care about you. We want you to continue showing up and hanging out with us, because you make the world a better place. Without further ado, thank you, Drew Estate and Natura Cigar, for making sure that we can have Chief Talk every single week, so we can hang out with you guys, unless we're traveling for Barn Smoker like we will in 2 weeks. But we will have a show next week. I think I'm going to try to bring a guest on next week. I don't know who, but I think I'm going to try to send you guys off with a nice little reward for being good little boys and girls. We missed everybody who wasn't here this week. I don't think Dan Burns or Diana Burns popped in this week. Stokey's sister wasn't here this week. Gary Brooks wasn't here this week. A few others that normally Adam Wolf comment who weren't here. So hopefully they're doing well. Hopefully you see them again next week. Without further ado, you guys have a great time, and we will see you on the internet.
Have you checked out ChevetteReport.com? It's the newest cigar media outlet to keep you in the know with all things cigar lifestyle related. From press releases to reviews, we have it all covered. Be some of our first members to join ChevetteReport.com and be a part of the next step in the cigar culture. ChevetteReport.com.
Time to relax. Whew. Man, I am beat. Whew. What are you doing? What are you doing here? Show's over. Go home. Go home. Show's over. What are you waiting for? You waiting for another show? This is a 1-ticket entry. Go. Bye. Go. Go. Go.